Okay, hey Uncle John, I'm going to go over how to set this up. And obviously the first thing I'll do is I'll turn on the Xair. I'm going to put the router, and this is a switch, a USB switch that helps to power up the iPad to pass the connection. I'm going to put that on the Velcro. It doesn't have a lot of weight, so I'll use the Velcro to hold it there. This seems to stay pretty good, so I'll just leave that there as is. Once they're in place, you're going to want to plug them in. The plugs will be in there, or at least the router plug will be in with the router. The router plug has a wider hole for the power supply. The USB has a smaller connection. That's how you'll be able to tell the difference, just in case they get mixed up. So the router, plug that in the back. You know where that goes. And then the same thing actually with the USB. It goes right by there, and you're good to go. Like I said, I just kind of put this on Velcro so it would stay down because it doesn't have enough weight to sit there. So next what I'll do is I'll power these up. And you'll notice, all right, the Xair, has the light comes on. The switch has a little blue light that comes on. And the router is going to take a moment. The front will have a couple of lights on, blue and green. I'll show you those once they kick in. So in the meantime, you can connect some of the wires that work this process. I labeled the wires so you know which end goes in which end in certain spots. So I'll start with number 1. I labeled the Cat 5 wire to go into the number 1 receptacle in the back of the router. Number 2. And we're going to start working our way towards the switch. So the first piece that goes into the switch is number 3. So 3. Pull it right there a second so you can see. It goes in like that. And then this is the wire that's going to go from the switch to the iPad. That has number 4. I think you know where that goes. That's the iPad, so I didn't label it. So number 4 to number 4. And this is a tiny connection. That's going to go in there. It's called a mini USB. So once that's all there and connected, the last one you'll hook up, well, in terms of the router, will be coming off the router into the front Ethernet port on the Xair. That's 5 to 5. Make sure that the Wi-Fi client is switched over to Ethernet to the left side. The light will come on, and now you can see the router is reading. Before there wasn't anything in the front. You get these green and blue lights indicating that it's now fully up and running. So the next piece you'll do is the iPad. Let me see. All right, I'm going to log in. So the first thing I'll do is check the settings. And I'm going to put it in airplane mode. Once I do that, now it goes green and the Wi-Fi is off. Bluetooth is off. Now I'm going to connect in to the switch. When that gets connected, it picks up an Ethernet signal. So I hit the Ethernet and I give it a minute. This came right up actually. It'll show you that it's connected. When it has 192.168.20.4, you're definitely connected to the router. So we're good. Next thing I'm going to do, and this part's a little odd. So the way this is designed, the Xair doesn't automatically pick up on the iPad the router setup that we have. So you have to put in the router pin, or IP address, 192.168.20.3. And I'm going to drop down the keyboard. I'm going to hit connect. Let me show here now. When that's flashing, you can tell it's talking, in a sense, back to the Xair. And now you can see that the iPad is linked directly it'll glare, but it's linked directly to the Xair now. And all your controls are hardwired as opposed to Wi-Fi into the Xair, so you shouldn't lose connection. They're hardwired in, so yeah, so you shouldn't lose connection. Just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to show you. Here, hold this, Joey. I'm going to switch it just so you can see that we're picking up signal. I'm just going to run in a second and give it a quick check. You can actually see the meters. So you're picking up on channel 1, and I'm going to move the mains up. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. So you can see the meters hitting. You're totally connected and functional at that point. The other thing I did was I put that IP address, so you won't lose it, onto the router. That's the IP address that you're going to enter in at the startup of the Xair and then hit connect. It won't automatically recognize it. It's the only way. Hopefully this helps, and good luck with it. Bye.